No, you did a good job on your videos. There was three I wanted to discuss because honestly, there's a lot going on, and it was
I
just
can't keep up with it.
no, I know, but you're doing a good job, Jim. Your information is like I can understand it. I think the average viewer can understand it too. Um, I want to talk about the time bomb because it relates to what you're just saying. Like the Arctic is warming. Uh, you said 4 times. I know, like there's a discrepancy, but it's
It's
in
now
between.
at least three. It used to be two, now it's at least three. Some models are even pointing to 4 times. So it's in the 3 to 4, probably closer to three. To is what I can.
But that's
You
still
could probably say with
dramatic.
certainty. Oh goddamn, is it? Oh gosh, yes. I mean, I'm putting together a couple more videos where you see the zonal average temperature, and it's like, then you get to the Arctic, and it's like, boing. It's just
Okay,
like
so yeah, stay
shoots
tuned.
up. It's like, and you read the numbers off the chart there, it's like 4 times. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and it's disturbing. And here we
Very.
are again, and we keep going in year after year. There's so much to unpack, Jim, because your videos were interesting. I mean, I took some notes. I wanted just to recap, but what you talked about, what 2020 represented and like moving forward. So like you mentioned, the gigafires is like this new term we're using, and like there's a fire on every continent. I'm like, yeah, you're definitely right there. Like it's amazing. Like we're seeing things. There's so many different like weather anomalies. We're just like, oh yeah, like but the news doesn't mention it. I mean, yeah, CBS News maybe mentions it. They got one guy coming on that like describes it, but how many people are actually seeing that? And then you got the
Well, they're corporations. They're run by
yeah,
corporations. They don't care. They're not going to say what's going on because it affects their bottom line.
and there really is no limit. I mean, we're faced with extinction and they won't change. So I mean,
No,
it's
no.
business
It's
as usual for them.
I mean, as I was saying, I don't know which videos you haven't had a chance to look at yet, but there's some ecologists who basically say that an increase of 4 degrees C will pretty much lead to extinction of humans.
So yeah,
And,
the most recent one you put up, the thermal inertia issue.
oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So
we
you
can
so you
discuss
saw
that.
the one with my rebuttal to man.
Yeah, you did a good job. I know it's not easy. I mean, just taking a stance in general. But like, you make an excellent point. I mean, the biggest point was the lockdown. I definitely wrote that down because I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. We had a simulation, we had an example, and the temperature still went up. Like 2020 was one of the hottest years. So it's locked in. The warming's locked in. So I know like
Yeah.
oh, and then it's interesting because I know like NOAA, they either underestimate it or they're not taking into account like some other feedback loops. But I've decided, yeah, to add zero point 0.5 to whatever they're saying because they're like, oh, it's 1 degree C, but you always say like 1.5 because I know it's underrepresented. The feedback loops, right? Like all that stuff.
There are some who are even saying that the official increase is now over 2C. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing 1.4, 1.5. So
Okay.
I'm going to go with those measurements because those are the measurements that at least so far have been verified. The two has not quite been verified, but it
Still,
would
we're
not
creeping
surprise
up.
me. In fact, I would totally expect 2C to be surpassed before this decade is out.
And like
I
you
really
said,
do.
it's really it could okay so much. It's amazing. It's the number game, right? Like, is it 7 to 9 C by 2100, or the minimum, like you said, 5 C, which is still devastating. And then
Yeah.
like that conservative think tank you said is like, oh, 2050 civilization might be out the window.
Which when you look at
Yeah.
it, if you're saying 5C by 2100 and 2050 humans are extinct, that means you're looking at about say 3.5, 4C,
Oh my
conservatively
god.
speaking. Well, that ties in to that what ecologists are saying, that 4C humans are extinct. So it kind of ties together. But um there's some people now saying, 7C within 1 to 2 decades. It's like, well, holy crap. I'm not buying into that just
Okay.
yet. I'm still going to go with probably 7 to 9, if not 10 or 11 by 2100. But I would definitely say 7 to 9.
So are they
And
getting? Oh, go ahead, finish your
uh,
thought.
and so when you say that, oh, we can go to zero emissions right now,
No, look at all
and
the
we'll walk
cars.
it, and we can stop it at two. Well, here's an analogy to think of why that's a foolish way of thinking. You have those big, container cargo ships, right? Those big, huge things with all the boxes on them. When they're coming into a port, they kill their engines 5 to 10 nautical miles out. Shut them down
Go on. What's going on?
because there's so much momentum that the
Oh,
momentum takes them into the harbor where they slow down enough, then the tugs, guide them to the dock. They kill their engines that far out at sea because of the momentum. And so that's what think of thermal inertia as, that kind of
okay.
momentum.
Interesting, Jim. Yeah, I can visualize it.
You know,
It's a runaway issue.
I was just recently, just the other night, I was on Environmental Coffee House, and
Nice.
we were talking about this whole man thing. And I basically,
Okay.
I said zero emission is not realistic. You know, people, they talk about use solar, use wind for geothermal, electric cars. Like, yeah, those are good things to use, but it's not the answer. It's not going to be the cure all. For example, okay, you have an electric vehicle. Now, does the electric vehicle emit less carbon into the atmosphere than a gas vehicle? Well, it depends on the gas vehicle, but let's just say it does. Okay, so yes, you're putting less pollution into the atmosphere, but you still have to do what? You have to plug in your electric vehicle at home so you can get your 400 miles on a charge, whatever it is. Now, unless you're living off the grid where you're supplying your own power, maybe geothermal, which is now geothermal would be zero emissions in all true honesty. But
Interesting.
solar panels, how do you make the solar panels? You have to use materials that, you know, are not greenhouse gas neutral or greenhouse gas negative, right? You're still going to emit greenhouse gases to make those materials. So you plug in your electric car. Where's the electricity for your house coming from? From a power plant. What's the power plant running on? Coal, diesel, gas, right?
Right.
It's it's not zero emissions. And even worse, okay, what runs the electric vehicle? Lithium batteries. So you have to do what? You have to mine lithium. Well, mining operations require heavy equipment, which uses lots of diesel. So, so there's no such thing as zero emissions.
No.
Which, by the way, is why the U.S. wanted to throw out Morales out of Bolivia, because Bolivia's got loads of lithium.
Ah, okay.
That's why.
Makes sense. I was
So,
like, oh yeah,
so,
follow the trail.
so the notion of getting to zero emissions is, as I like to say, please share with us whatever foliage you are smoking,
Yeah.
because we can all use a hit.
That's hilarious. I know. So yeah, just okay. Yeah, we have already locked in a type of idea about what civilization is, right? We drive cars and we use, like you said, the power plants. We've already, that's how we live in this century, at least for now. But that's normal. So how are we gonna take away that?
And the thing, the issue, the big elephant in the room that no one will address is overpopulation.
Right.
There's just simply too many people on the planet. All these people putting demands and stresses on resources. You can't keep adding 80 million people a year
No.
on a finite planet and expect things to be honky dory.
There's so much to say. I think it was like I checked it. Not it's like 7.8 billion, almost 7.9.
Yeah, I'm just
Um.
saying eight.
Okay, I know. I mean
Just
that's
round
it's
it.
yeah, it's basically eight, right? And even with COVID, it seems like the numbers are still pretty high. It's kind of strange. But yeah, the finite planet issue is like we keep adding so many people. And then what's interesting is in like certain cultures like American, right, we pursue, not you and me, but the idea is America pursues material items as like worth. So like we're buying. I feel like that's still true. I know it was like pretty predominant in like the 2000s, right? The Paris Hilton years, like that type of, you need like the McMansion era, but it's interesting because that idea, it's been squandered, I guess, because the rich can live like that. But like, how many people can actually afford these lavish lifestyles? I mean, that's kind of a, all right.
Well, this is another reason why capitalism is a horrible system, because it
Yeah,
promotes that kind of thinking. And here in the U.S., it promotes the idea, well, anyone can become rich. No,
yeah, that idea.
no, you gotta look at the game of Monopoly, right? The board game of Monopoly was designed to illustrate just what a nasty, horrible, unequal system and capitalism is, because what usually happens in Monopoly, one person controls the board.
Oh no.
What happens in capitalism? You got the couple people controlling everything, and they're doing what? Oh, we'll give you a job for minimum wage, you know,
Yeah. And
give you
don't union.
crumbs to the plebes, that kind of stuff. So so we need to totally get rid of capitalism and
And like,
basically just have an economy based on sustainability, not quote unquote growth and profits.